gonna have to start calling those girls the glitter girls.
Okay. Here at the top left-hand corner of Belshire Beach is our Terran player with a GSL Super Tournament. Got the intro this time.
Yep.
GSL Super Tournament win under his belt, trying to win the GSL Code S now. If he gets 2 more games, he will be advancing to the semifinals to face either Genius or Top. And here is his opponent. Is down a game, really trying to prove himself here.
MVP Keen.
MVP Keen.
Keen definitely one of the Keen and Genius both actually very strong MVP players that are just kind of pushing MVP through the GSL. They've done quite well in the Team League, but starting to show up a lot more in Code S.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, I remember MVP when they were kind of. It wasn't that long ago when they were like the team of like, who's on MVP again?
Yeah, they were just kind of that ragtag team of like B-teamers, and then they started getting a lot better.
And then it's like, oh, actually, like they're doing okay in the team league. Oh, they have 7 players in Code A this season. Oh, they're like actually dominating now.
Yeah, they're doing quite well. I'm really impressed because it wasn't like they just suddenly started picking players too that have done well. They picked these guys from the start. Like Dongray Gu's been on MVP for a while, and
yeah,
you know, he was a smart choice to pick because he's so good. He started performing, and look at this, almost a kill there, but not quite.
Has to.
SCV is ashamed. He has to go home.
X that off the depot to save it.
So both of these guys are doing very standard openers. 12 barracks, 13 gas by the looks of it. Factory's going down. Both of these guys. The factory of Optimus a little bit faster. Ooh, second gas for him as well. So we may be seeing Cloak Banshees. Also Blue Flame, though, is quite popular on this map because the map is so large. There's so many open areas where Blue Flame can kind of get around. You can use it to control the watchtowers. It's very important to control the watchtowers on this map.
Yeah. I like how Optimus sent his first Marine kind of around the map a little bit just to check out, make sure there's no proxies or anything like that. This could be, I mean, this is a map where we do see a fair amount of cheese.
Yeah, a lot of shenanigans. Now, Keen has taken his second gas as well. See, obviously it's not going to be Cloak Banshees immediately here for Optimus because he's switching his barracks with the factory. Is going to do some reactor Hellion pressure. Starport still could go for Cloak. We did get that reactor up very quickly and make 2 Hellions immediately. Whereas Keen looks like he is actually going to be going for Cloak Banshees, making a tech lab on his factory. Starport going to be lifted. There's going to be a switch very soon. Yeah. There's that factory moving over there.
Very interesting play. So we are going to see some Banshees out. Now, he does have a second gas, right? So he might be going for Cloak as well.
Yeah, and you know, Optimus is making a tech lab next to his factory, his Starport rather, as well. So he's doing this reactor Hellion opening, but he's going to be following it up with Banshees. So both these guys going Banshees. No Cloak just yet for either of them, and it looks like Optimus may go for it. Nope, both of them going for the exact same moment.
Interesting.
This is going to turn out to be quite interesting when Cloak meets Cloak. Sometimes you have a funny situation, and when the Banshees both hit both players' base at the same time, you go, well, how do I micro my Banshee that's attacking, or do I micro to defend against his Banshee? A lot of decisions go into that.
Now, we do have a reactor on the barracks for Optimus, but not for Keen. So that means Optimus is going to have out more Marines to be able to deal with the Banshees coming in from Keen.
These Hellions...
Theoretically, actually, I don't know. He actually made a lot of Hellions first, so...
Yeah, these Hellions aren't going to do a whole lot because of the high ground. They're going to poke at this barracks. Both players actually scanned their opponent's bases but did not see the Starport because both hit it from the side. So we're just not really going to be able to see any sort of... they're not going to be able to know exactly what's going on. They're not going to make a perfectly orchestrated response.
Yeah, and here comes the first Banshee coming in for Keen. Cloak is not quite upgraded yet. He's going to start picking away at the Marines. There is already a missile turret in production in the mineral line there. And Cloak is not going to be quite upgraded quick enough for him to be able to stop that from finishing.
Is he going to try? Nope.
And so Keen's Banshee's going to do virtually nothing, just killing a few Marines off. He's going to come around to the top here, try and do some more poking.
Banshee of Optimus has arrived in Keen's base, and he's just now starting his engineering bay, and Optimus' cloak is done. This is going to really hurt. He does have enough for a scan. Doesn't have a Viking, though.
And Optimus just got out of Viking because Keen opted for a second Banshee.
Yep. And
goes down.
Banshee. The Banshee of Keen does survive with 2 hit points.
You know what I just realized, man? Cloak Banshees cast shadows.
That is a little bit weird.
Isn't that weird?
That is a little weird.
And the shadow has like kind of a cloaky effect to it too. Wow, so look at this. Optimus taking out Marines now. He can't really get into the mineral line now that the turret's about to finish, but with that cloak, he's just taking out lots of Marines.
The siege tank tries to escape but can't get out. Raven comes out here. That's going to end that harass. Now, what I think Optimus actually may be gearing up to do, because he was going for those Marines, he also has the Hellions at the front. He may actually be trying to do a timing attack. That's why he was trying to kill the attacking units. He may want to try to end the game. That Banshee with 2 hit points left is still alive.
How did it survive? He just like gave up on killing it?
He just barely got away from the Vikings range. Uh-oh, losing a Hellion here. Both guys having a Raven now. It looks like Keen is actually going to go for an attack.
Huh.
He did kill the siege tank of his opponent, so he's going to have that advantage over him.
I really don't know why he didn't chase that Banshee down in the corner.
Well, it looks like the
wants
Banshee
to come back in and die again.
Yeah, it's only got 5 energy left, so not going to be around much longer. There's a Raven out. Viking. See ya.
That was
well, that was absurd, I would say. Yeah,
that was absurd. I was like trying to find a word that was like a little less insulting, and no, it just was absurd actually.
Well, this little attack, I don't think it's going to be successful.
Yeah, the Viking's going to push that Raven back.
Keen's going to have siege mode.
Army's going to get pushed back, actually. Drops an auto turret, Raven on Raven action going on here. And Keen is going to lose his whole army there.
Yeah, even the Hellions to trap the siege tank.
Wow.
This is not looking good for Keen, losing a ton of units. He did have siege mode, but he wasn't able to make use of it.
And he was actually targeting Optimus's Raven. So Optimus's Viking was able to force his Viking back. And he didn't even get the Raven, so everything going wrong for Keen here. Keen down by about 15 supply.
His command center is way behind Optimus as well. Optimus' command center finishing up right now, adding 2 additional barracks. I think what he's going to try to do is soft contain Keen. Just keep poking at the natural so that he can't take it very safely, so he loses even more mining time from being behind.
That'd be smart.
The SCV is repairing back at Optimus' base all of the siege tanks, the Ravens, the Vikings, so nice little repair job by Optimus.
Yeah. Either way, Optimus can really easily take his expansion.
Exactly.
Float it over there. There's nothing Keen can do about it.
Smartly, Keen has already positioned his siege tanks to hold his natural, so he can't lose control of that. It's going to be very difficult for Optimus to push up here, but he is 20 supply up right now, making his command center into an orbital. This is a very difficult time for Keen, because if he makes one mistake, the game will just end, and now he's been completely spotted. He even has this Banshee here. He's going to kill the turret before it finishes. Looks like he actually wants to go for tanks.
Smart move, because if he kills off a couple of those tanks, his army is just going to be so much bigger. It already is bigger right now.
Yeah, look at this. Pushing 40. Wants the tanks and siege just one more time. Auto turrets being dropped here to tank fire, and looks like Optimus just wants to end the game. SCV's coming up, but I don't think they're going to be enough. The tank's falling very rapidly. Keen having one more tank at the entrance to his base, but 4 tanks against 1, especially when there's a Banshee to support, that's not going to work out, I don't think.
Yeah, and now, does Optimus actually have siege mode? He does, right?
Yeah, in fact, he does not.
Oh, he doesn't? Okay, so that, I was going to say, he could just siege up right now, but he can't really do that, but he just has so many more tanks, it doesn't matter.
And the Vikings going home to take care of this Banshee. The Banshee getting a lot of kills, though, but if you look at the main here of Keen, it doesn't look like it's going to work. And, yeah, I mean, he's going to hold this a little bit longer, but the Banshee and the tanks just killing all of the SCVs. But he wishes he had a Hellion right now.
Yeah, that Banshee somehow staying alive. Oh, a tank pops out for Keen and polishes off those 2 tanks. Is he going to turn around and get that 3rd? Yes. And the Banshee is 1 hit away from dying as well, and the Marine pops out. Oh, the Viking works too.
Problem is, though, it's
So,
26
yeah.
SCVs to 10 SCVs.
Well-
It's 57 supply to 19 supply. There's 2 command centers up and running for Optimus. There's one for Keen. The second one's just kind of floating.
Yeah,
He
Keen
landed to drop a mule.
Keen is actually just dead. He's got
Yeah.
so little supply right now.
He's just going to target down the siege tank with everything he has, and actually may have ended up being a bad choice. Nope, he gets it.
And he scans. He's going to get the Banshee, and he's probably going to get the tank as well. He may even GG actually after defeating that. Nope, he's going to stay in the game.
Well, he's got another round of units coming here, and honestly, I don't see any way that he can come back from this. He played valiantly, but his timing attack, where, like you said, he targeted down the Raven, that just really came to bite him. He doesn't have enough units to hold off the counter pressure of Optimus. Optimus controlled his Banshee better, had an engineering bay already prepared, whereas Keen did not. He just basically played the same style as his opponent, but just better. GG.
GG. Optimus takes game 2 as well. And really, again, just kind of outclassed and outplayed Keen in that game.
Yeah, I mean, they both had the same style. They both went Cloak Banshees. Optimus pressured with his Hellions. That was the main difference in the build. But he had his command center up faster, he had his engineering bay up faster, and he had a turret prepared.
And yeah, he had a turret prepared, and he actually went for a Viking after his
Yes.
Banshee instead of a second Banshee. So
He basically
had the
did everything
Viking out.
right.
Yeah, he had the Banshee out right after his Marines kind of died, and he's like, all right, well, now I don't have quite enough Marines to target this Banshee down. Viking pops out.
Without
So we'll
Stim,
deal with that.
you can never really deal with Banshees with Marines if your opponent micros properly.
Yeah.
You just never will. So, especially if he has Cloak, then it's like, you have like 20 Marines, it's just not going to work. You're like,
Yeah.
maybe. No, not going to work.
No, because you have to somehow get all your Marines underneath their Banshee and then scan so you can make full use of the scan. Otherwise, you won't do enough damage if you're just trying to like attack, and he'll just run away until the scan runs out. So you can't do that. You can't catch up to the Banshee unless you do have that stim, and you don't have stim when you go for Banshees yourself.
Keen had some sloppy Banshee control, didn't have the turret up and ready, made 2 Banshees like you were saying, which you can do if your opponent doesn't go Banshees, but when you know that your opponent is, you just make a Viking instead, and then you're fine, but he didn't do that. He lost so many SCVs, lost all of his Marines. Then when that attack came, he had no buffer units. After he tried to do a timing attack, it wasn't the right time to do a timing attack. If you lose all your Marines to a Banshee, it doesn't make sense to go for the timing attack.
Keen, he really, and I mean, it's impossible for Keen to have known this in his position. He didn't really have all the information, but he couldn't really afford to go out and attack, and he did anyway. And he should have played a little bit more defensively and tried to get his expansion up, but instead he's like, I'm going to go attack. Oh, you have more units. Oh, I died. Now I'm just going to be under pressure the entire game.
Yeah.
And it was just Optimus just keeping up that pressure. He's like, well, I've got a 15 supply lead. You're just never going to get more units.
He
from me.
wanted to hit with that siege tank tie-in, but didn't really work out for him. We're going to take a 5-minute break. We'll see you guys for Game 3 after 5 minutes.